this edition of Rapid Motion Africa, we head off to Duratec for the Sasol SAE Mini Baja. All this action proudly brought to you by Sasol. As always, the final part of the year, and the universities have come far and wide, not only here in South Africa, but also from India, to come and participate in the 2012 Sasol Baja. They've gone all out to change up exactly what went wrong last year and hopefully put themselves into contention for a victory here at this year's event.
Favourites for the 2012 event have got to be the Tux team, who have been across stateside and even taking wins across there. So coming back to South Africa should be a formality to go out and win this event once again.
They'll be pushed hard by KwaZulu-Natal and of course the guys from PE. Remember, we have got an Indian university joining us too, and things started out pretty rapidly as we got into the scoring. And on day one, the scoring means the static evaluation, the safety, the mechanical design put into the cars, and of course how much it cost to put it all together. All of these aspects vitally important because it can mean the difference between winning and losing. It's not only about the performance of the car, it's about everything that goes into it.
And once all that was taken care of, the cars get rolled out, trailered out, and head into the zones where they're going to be scored on their performance.
Checking out that performance in the Karts, Briggs & Stratton engines, making sure that they're all in position and working correctly, and also making sure that no significant changes or race infringements have been done, which we'll only see in the endurance race, but more importantly, looking at how the cost report goes into it too. And as has become customary, an invitation to the Indian University to come and join us here at the Sasol Baja.
We've heard a lot about the competition in general, the toughness of the track over here, especially the Garotech test facility. It's world renowned. So we wanted to come here and test our engineering skills over here.
What makes your car different?
Yeah, firstly, our car is different from the others because it's got a direct drive. We're not using a CVT as the other cars are using, and we are also using extremely light air shock absorbers. So the weight of our car is at par with almost the international teams, and with the help of a direct drive, we are hoping for a good acceleration.
Another team looking to do well, and on their welcome return, it's good to see KwaZulu-Natal back in it.
Heinrich, you guys have got something to live up to because the team previously won this event.
Yes, they did. Well, they had first place overall, and then some people appealed the way that it was judged, and so they ended up coming second, although they still kept the trophies. That was in 2007. And because of that appeal, they just haven't opted to do the Mini Baja competition again. And this year, we're trying to get it back in. We got given the project, but we haven't been asked to do the competition. So it was out of our own that we decided, let's keep to the rules and do the actual competition. And it brings us here. Obviously, if we do well, then they'll be back here next year. If we don't do well, I guess that'll be the end of it for UKZN.
Now time to go and test out the performance, acceleration, top speed, skid pull, maneuverability, and the hill climb. Some guys, even the Potch boys, Pucker, going to trailer their vehicle down to the performance area. Some guys going to drive it down.
Bit of a distance to cover from the static testing before we get into the performance zone. We're going to start things out with a high speed run.
The acceleration now being tested. They accelerate for the first part of this test, and then as soon as they hit a certain set of cones, it's all about braking. So checking not only how fast they can get up to speed, but how quickly they can stop as well.
This is on the flat part of the oval as well, so there are the cones. Well,
that's impressive braking.
It is, but he was a little bit late on the reactionary.
Everybody else going to line up now for a quick acceleration test and see how we go. Once they've got that acceleration test done and dusted, it's then time to head into the other performance aspects. But 83 from Tux, a very quick machine off the line, and actually just getting over the 50k an hour mark. So fastest machine out there and very good braking.
Yeah, very solid. That machine is definitely one to watch out for. Has been a favourite for the last couple of events.
Kart 8 only getting up to the 44.5k an hour mark, so not quite on it, but very good on the brakes as well. 14 comes into play, and that'll be the third fastest run of the day there for Funnervale Park. So India coming in second, we saw them out first, and the boys from Tux taking the top speed run.
Maneuverability now is where we are at, in a grassy section of the Duratec zone, and it's all cones. You lose points for clipping the cones, and you lose points for a slow speed.
You're going to make sure that you don't overshoot as well, and if you skip any of the areas, you'll also get penalties.
A couple of the guys running extremely long chassis this year. It's definitely going to pay dividends in the endurance race, but in maneuverability, you need a shorter chassis. But sometimes too short is just too twitchy.
I think you've got to take into account there's a little bit of understeer going into the corners too. That's a much better run there. And it looks like we're going to be in for a great one here. 14 is probably up in about second spot at this stage. They've had a good run so far and hardly any penalty points put onto them.
Yeah. So
looking good there for the Fun of Park boys.
yeah, you've got to find the middle ground. Very low, very big wheels. You can see it's a bit of a handful to get the number 12 vehicle through. There's the guys from VIT.
Heads up on the 10 though. This is Wits, and looks like they've got this thing absolutely dialed in. Brilliant turning there. Not so good from Tucky's one here. They're having a little bit of problems, but let's see how they score overall. That's what you need to take into account. Not only do they have to worry about the maneuverability, as you said, there are sections that they've got to make, and there are also cones that might be clipped.
Tux one were having navigational problems, but look at this vehicle coming out of India. This thing is really well set up and does fire out the corners extremely well.
Gets through and gets the third fastest time of the day, which is not a bad one there. VUT taking it, the Vaal University of Technology. Wits, fortunately, pipping them to the line and taking the victory.
And as is becoming customary with the Mini Baja, certainly no change here for 2012. Weather is coming into play. The wind is picked up and the storm clouds are brewing. We head over to the skid pull.
It might help out with the skid pull because a bit of wetness might actually get that skid going. But we'll have to wait and see. You've got to take up the strain, and as soon as you do that, it's the largest distance between your two runs that gets averaged out, and it doesn't look like the 5 car is going anywhere right now.
Yeah, it's just going to be lofting the front wheels, so that shorter chassis is definitely not paying off when it comes to this.
Come on, Vaal. Looking good so far, boys, and that's getting pretty decent. The 10 car, not so good from Wits, although as soon as he gets going, once that momentum is there, you've got to just try and keep the momentum going.
Extremely difficult to lay down the power, and this is where the engines really take a lot of strain. Watch out for clutches to get burned out.
The second Vaal team have got it down now. You can see that they learned from their teammates, and wow, this is a pretty decent pull here. To say ESPN will be looking at this and going, yeah, we moved these guys into some tractor pulling later.
That was a distance of 59, so extremely strong from the 14.
However, it was 83 that was quickest from Tux, the two Pretoria carts. Best in the skid pull, and Vaal University right behind them.
Then we head into the famous zone. Now we are going up the hill climb. A 40% increase up here shouldn't be a huge test for these guys.
Here we go, 6 cart going up the side. Giving it everything they can, University of KwaZulu-Natal. And remember, this is all scored not only on the best time, but also on your best group time. And that's got to be taken into account too.
This is using acceleration, drive, and a little bit of stability as well.
Remember, they've got that safety cable underneath. That's just to make sure that if anything goes wrong, they can grab that cart and pull it back to the top.
40% incline isn't a huge test for most of these carts. Everyone should be up, and it's just going to be a case of who is the faster.
Then we move on to the 50% incline, so it's a slightly steeper gradient. No problems at all for the guys from CUT.
Yeah, everyone's got the thumbs up. As you can see, the crowd are just enjoying this process as everyone just limps their way up.
Slightly slower up the 50%, but getting to the top. Tux 2. Good job there. Now onto the 60% gradient. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it starts to get real. You're certainly going to see the cracks showing in a couple of the vehicles out there. No problems for Team India.
And just getting over the top there. Nicely done. There's our boys that should start out as favourites. Number 1 plate on the cart. A little bit of problems halfway up though. And going nowhere.
No, nothing is happening there. That's going to be a huge loss in points.
Safety cable employed. And here we go. Pull them to the top. Wits takes the hill climb, Tux in second, and of course the second team from Wits finish up in third place.
And join us after the break for more action from the Sasol Mini Baja 2012.
Welcome back to action from the Baja SAE 2012, proudly brought to you by Sasol. Day 2 sees some more static evaluation that has to be completed, but what they're looking for here is originality, innovation that comes into the carts, the craftsmanship that gets put into them, and of course the feasibility of mass production.
We have seen quality and build standards go up drastically over the last couple of years. Certainly the raw materials that have become available have allowed things to drastically improve.
Improvements such as man-made shocks coming out of Tux, but there are some aftermarket parts that are being thrown at these machines as well. The problem with the aftermarket side of things is it ups the cost, and there is definitely a cost factor to be brought in. At leading into day 2, Mini Baja from Pretoria.
We usually are up front right up until race day, and traditionally something stupid has broken on our car, something that we overlooked. We put too much effort into aesthetics, etc., and we leave one old component on a car. That old component breaks in the race and sets us back, and we end up not winning. So we had a major paradigm shift recently where everything on the car is brand new. Reliability is there. We've now completed the races without a single hitch. We just do laps. Things are breaking, such as tires now. We're blowing tires at that. So it's things that are completely out of our control. It depends on the race. It depends on how the driver reacts to other drivers, etc. So we should do well. Today we're going in with a lead. We usually go in with a lead. We've top on design. We came second and third as I believe in dynamic events yesterday. So today we walk in with a comfortable point lead. We just have to drive, not break down. Laps-wise, we can do a whole lot of laps less than the competition and we'll still win.
It's our first year that we're actually competing, so we had to build the frame from scratch. We decided to go with trail arms at the back. It eliminates the change in camber of the suspension that the A-arms create when the wheels go up and down. That's our main difference, and our wheelbase is slightly wider, but there's not real many other differences other than that.
I'm looking for craftsmanship, so quality of paintwork, quality of bodywork, quality of the welding, machining, basically the general effort that people put into making the different components to make them look good, work good, and also just instead of buying it out, to making it yourself.
Very important factors to make it yourself, but in the design report, eventually at the top, all 3 teams from Pretoria taking the top 3 honours. And no pun intended there, with the 2 Indian teams in 4 and 5.
And this moves us forward now onto the endurance test. A 1.4 kilometer track, and these guys are going to be out there for a very long time, testing their mettle, literally, to see if they've got what it takes to hold these things together.
One sighting lap allows most of the carts, except for that one. The number 1 cart this morning woke up with a broken engine. Briggs & Stratton supplied a new one. They put it all together and then broke the accelerator cable. So a bit of work to do for the number 1 cart, lying in about the top 3 right now.
Yeah, you would expect problems to come out during the race, but certainly it's a good thing to find a problem before it and try and get things dialed in. But they are going to lose a lot of laps as they do not line up for the beginning of the race.
The race has started. It's 4 hours of action coming your way now. We're not going to pick up on all 4 hours. We're going to pick up on all the good stuff that happened out there. And once again, good to see Professor Skulk Else out there as well. He's the man who put this all together and has handed it over now full time. But, oh, that GoPro's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, the original mud splash. And it's lap 1 already. You can see actually on the left-hand side there is a chicken route around here if you don't want to splash through, and that may get used a little bit later on because we always know that this mud bog becomes a huge problem.
Yeah, it gets worse and worse during the day, and if we do get the rain that's expected a bit later on, I think everybody will be hitting the right-hand lane. There's the little whoop section on the left-hand side, bit of a chicken run there, but can end up in a bit of a... Whoa, that was close.
It's actually the first time I've seen them give them these options where there's a legit pass that you don't have to make on the track. You can simply take another option.
Take the second line and see what happens. 83 will definitely be in contention, and Pretoria are looking good here. A good possibility of a 1-2-3 for them.
And that 83 bug has got a massive lead already, so it's looking good for the Tux guys.
Yeah, pulling away from the rest of the field and hopefully can keep it all together. Kart 2 is the other car we're looking for, and there he goes in sight right now. Right on his tail is the 14-1 from Val. So Val and Pretoria going at it. You can see from the sideline lots of support, and good to see the university students coming out to support their team.
VUT holding nothing back through the mud splash as well, but remember, this is all about strategy. You've got to control the car and not get too aggressive. You've got to make it last 4 massive hours around a 1.4K track.
Looks like Wits are in the pits pretty early as well, and joining the boys from the number 1 team. So a couple of carts not going to be making all 4 hours yet, I don't think.
This 83 vehicle out of Tux, coming off a win US stateside, definitely coming in with a lot of confidence and a big lead.
Val up into second place now, looking good in their 8 cart. That's the first of the 2 Val entries. And problems here for 83. Looks like it's not working out exactly as they planned. As he runs a little bit wide there, it looks like the handling on that car has gone a bit, and maybe a little bit of work to do in the pits for them.
Yeah, the VUT guys are going to be trying to close them down, but this is still very early stages within the first hour.
14 across the line, that is second of the Val boys. And closing onto the back end of Tux and University of KwaZulu-Natal.
Amazing how filthy these guys
New
get
leader.
so early on.
Sorry to
Yes.
jump in, Matt. That's the new
Yeah.
leader. What's happened to 83?
Yeah, we seem to
Gone
have
missing.
lost them along the way, and look at the aggressive moves from the 6th vehicle, the UKZN. These guys said they had something special in the endurance race, and it looks like it's definitely come through.
There's the 83 in pit lane, so problems there for that car. Lots of work to be done on it. You can see they're working frantically to get it back out on track. That's a pity. They had a massive lead.
This is going to drop them way, way down.
7 car into the pits as well, so joining the number 1 car that's been there since the start of the race. They still haven't got that sorted out, and the boys from Pika have also got a little bit of work to do on their first cart.
You've got to watch out for the charger, though. Number 6, UKZN, is absolutely lit around this track. We went back into the pits to find out what the issue was with the number 1 vehicle from Tux.
We're having a few problems with the car. First, the first engine didn't work. Then we got a new engine and we got it in. It didn't start again. And then we got another engine. And that one worked. And then the throttle cable broke. The snap just not there beneath the pedals. So we're fixing that now. And then hopefully I'll be able to.
So after an hour, it looks like the boys from Bloemfontein are the team to beat. India up in 2nd place, Val into 3rd. Watch out for that number 6 cart from the UKZN.
Best lap time of 3 minutes 25 for a 1.4 circuit, so it's not going to get any easier. And as we always know with the Mini Baja, this track does deteriorate.
And if the rain comes, Matt, it's going to get even worse, because if you look over the hills just to the north, we're expecting a massive thunderstorm again here today. So I think we're going to see a little bit of swamp racing here, dude.
Yeah, the mud bogs at the moment have been man-made, but nature, I think, is going to come a-calling and throw a spanner in the works for sure.
So Northwest University, the Pucker boys are starting to get into a rhythm and are starting to make their way through the field.
This is 4th place for the number 5 vehicle, getting up there from CUT. But I always worry with these shorter axles on the smaller vehicles, it's going to be very, very tricky to keep them lined up.
A little tear off there on the goggles, not a bad option. 2 is in the hunt now, and I think the 2nd team from Pretoria are definitely looking good. I love the fact that the Durban boys are not holding anything back. Through that whoop section, pinned.
Yeah, UKZN on track right now, definitely the fastest vehicle out there, but time will tell whether it's actually going to last, because those shocks and every single inch of that vehicle are taking a massive hit every time through those jumps that he's not backing off for.
I don't think the boys from the Val University of Technology are holding anything back either. They've got 2 cars in the top 5. It's a valiant effort from them.
I talked about the fact that the fastest lap time in the first hour was a 3 minutes 25. That has now been absolutely slaughtered by the UKZN guys, a 3:05.
It's an impressive lap time. Hang tight on it as they go into the 2nd hour here. You can see some of the sections on the track. Traffic is a little bit of a problem too.
Yeah, very much follow my leader, and we always say this, but the camera is not doing this section any justice. It's extremely steep.
You can see a little bit of problems here as they've stopped on the sideline, but at the end of 2 hours, it's the Indian boys that have hit the front now. Val are in 2nd. KwaZulu-Natal have moved up to 3rd. Bloemfontein have dropped from 1st place down to 4th. And look out for the 2nd Val team there in the top 5.
83 was down in 9th place as well, so our early race leaders have got a lot of work to do to try and pull their socks up.
Coming into the 3rd hour, and the rain is falling, and falling big time. So nature is going to throw a little curveball at this event. One curveball we can mention that has been sorted out is the number 1 cart. It is back on track and eventually getting there, but as I say that, commentators curse, it doesn't look like it's going like it should.
Yeah, it's running something like 30 laps down at this stage, as the weather is definitely causing problems on all of the vehicles.
And they came out with about an hour and 40 completed, so we've still got about an hour and 40 to go. And a bit of work to do for the number 1 cart as 83 is back in the hunt. We caught up with Mr. Mbokani from Sasol.
Yeah, Sasol has had a long relationship with the Sasol Baja that we've started in 1996. And we're now in our 16th year this year. And it looks like this year has just grown much bigger than it was last year. And we've been really happy with the returns that we've received in this event. It represents our quest to be better technologically. Every time that the cars come here and race, they have to be different. They have to show some significant difference from what they were last year. And that is where Sasol comes in. We encourage creativity along the engineering sphere. And we're hoping that some of these engineers who are coming here can end up being Sasol employees in the future. This something came from the University of Pretoria. They own the rights. Actually, Professor Skalk Els, who I'd like to thank very much for his contribution to the Baja. In fact, he almost single-handedly ran it for the last 16 years. Only this year, the running of the event has gone to Girotech, who is also our partner, the owners of this venue. They've taken over the running of the event, and then the University of Pretoria can concentrate on their cars.
Back out on track though, and within the third hour you can see everyone is still trying to figure things out. The track is definitely running faster, but this is the stage of the race where we're looking for reliability.
And also no mistakes. Running wide in corners is going to be costly. As we can see here, the 83 car, I think they're just pushing it a little bit too hard. Maybe just need to get back into the rhythm there. And the possibility of still getting into the top 3 is there for the guys from Pretoria. Just no more mistakes, boys.
They are definitely charging and pushing on. Current leader right now, though, is the 6 car. The UKZN guys have been absolutely flat out, and they hold a 1-lap advantage of the VUT guys, as well as looking at Bloemfontein. They're coming on through in 4th and 5th.
And with about 12 minutes to go, you can see KwaZulu-Natal are the team to beat, although they're being pushed very hard by both of the teams from Vaal University of Technology.
I seem to remember bigger gaps in last year's event. This is extremely close. It's going to come down to a 1-lap advantage.
1-lap advantage is not a lot on this course, especially when you've been going at it for nearly 4 hours.
That should be just over 3 minutes, the actual advantage we're talking about.
7 car just getting stuck in the mud there, but a bit of assistance from the outside has got him through. I think next time he might take the chicken line.
What we haven't spoken about is the kind of soil that we're dealing with out there. Clay-based, which means it gets wet and just spins up. You're going to see this stuff just get polished. It is kind of drying out, but it's not really offering any kind of extra grip.
Right now, Bloemfontein are sitting 5 and 4th on the road, so they don't look like they're going to make up any more ground than what they've been able to. 3rd place is the 14 car, and there he comes into shot. Not a bad effort there from Vaal University of Technology.
All their refuels, all their driver changes, running smooth as silk. The 8 buggy has been exceptionally strong. Very solid and consistent the whole way through, sitting in 2nd for now.
Yeah, no fear here from the boys from the Banana Boys, we'd like to call them. It hasn't been that for a while. But University of KwaZulu-Natal, absolutely flying. 1-lap advantage, and I think that checkered flag is going to come out for them.
Yeah, their investment into the setup on their car has seen them consistently with the fastest laps out there. A best lap time, and it's actually come in this last section of the race. A 2-minute 54 pinned out there.
Checkered flag is waiting, and University of KwaZulu-Natal are going to win the endurance race here at the Sasol Mini Baja. Good effort there, boys. Across the line, and a very happy team, I'm sure, with that result, taking it ahead of the 2 teams from Vaal University of Technology. Central University of Technology taking 4 and 5, and India coming through for 6, ahead of Pretoria, Paka, and the 2nd team from Tux. We caught up with KwaZulu-Natal's Hein Etzel, team captain for their team.
Yeah, we had a slight problem with the flange for the side shaft popping off for the CV. So we just had to make a permanent fix, welded it, so it'll be difficult to get that off. But that's not our problem. After that, must say thanks to Donovan, my uncle. Yeah, but Donovan welded it up. Everyone helped together to put that CV back on properly, and I'm just glad it held on.
Your car worked well with the jumps.
Yeah, I think we designed a fairly good car. The suspension worked well. Everything held up quite nicely. Quite happy with the way the car went.
We had a little trouble yesterday. Compared to the smaller cars, it's not as maneuverable around the Gymkhana track, but today we showed the work that we put in for the Enduro, that's where all the effort was, and it paid off.
For acceleration and braking, the maneuverability, the hill climb, and of course the skid pull, that gives overall performance to Vaal University of Technology, cart number 14.
For feasibility of mass production, it's VIT University, car 12.
The boys from Pretoria showed what they had when it came to originality and design, and static design 1, 2, and 3 going to Pretoria University.
For the endurance race, Vaal University of Technology's got the runner-up spot. They were very solid the whole way through the race, but no surprise to see the hard charges of UKZN taking the endurance race and really showing what they were all about. They said they had custom-made that car specifically for that race.
In the overall awards, though, number 14 from Vaal University of Technology takes third spot.
Second place in the overalls, and certainly held tight by their performance in the endurance race, was the University of KwaZulu-Natal.
And the best team for 2012 came out of Pretoria. Good effort there from Tux boys, taking the overall.
This 2012 Sasol Mini Baja action brought to you proudly by Sasol.